May the labor of our heroes past not be in vain.
Let our brother Peter Obi show leadership like Edwin Clark did by resolving first the crisis in the Labour Party. For a man who wants to run Nigeria, you have one of the smallest parties in Nigeria, and you cannot even resolve the crisis in that Labour Party. Is it the crisis of Boko Haram that you will come and resolve in Nigeria?
Look at what is happening in Nigeria today. Above all, Jaragowan sacrificed everything. The country people sacrificed has turned into a crime scene. All we do today is stealing. You know, and we have to do something. All we need to do is live a courageous life.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Politics, the program that dives deep into the heart of Nigerian political discourse. Today, we are unpacking a rather pointed exchange that has ignited conversations across the nation. It involves two prominent figures, the current Senate President Godswill Akpabio and the Labour Party's standard bearer in the 2023 elections, Peter Obi. The backdrop for this verbal just was a valedictory session held in honor of the late elder statesman, Chief Edwin Clark. It was a moment to reflect on his immense contributions to Nigeria. However, the atmosphere shifted somewhat when Senate President Akpabio took the opportunity to respond to recent remarks made by Peter Obi at a memorial lecture also held in Chief Clark's honor.
In the social media, we would like to tweet, Nigeria has an unregulated social media system. So they let them wallow in it and then take a disadvantaged situation and propagate all sorts of falsehood and all sorts of narratives. Some of them in the social media were not even born when Peter Edwin Clark was very active in service. And so they couldn't have known some of the things he did that we are remembering today. And yet, when somebody makes a statement that the labors of our heroes past are in vain, I beg to disagree. Let our brother Peter Obi show leadership like Edwin Clark did by resolving first the crisis in the Labour Party. For a man who wants to run Nigeria, you have one of the smallest parties in Nigeria, and you cannot even resolve the crisis in that Labour Party. Is it the crisis of Boko Haram that you will come and resolve in Nigeria? I would like us to be known for what we did when we had the opportunities.
So in his address, Senator Akpabio directly addressed Peter Obi's assertion that the labor of our heroes past is now in vain, given the current state of the nation. Akpabio countered this by suggesting that Obi should first focus on resolving the internal crisis plaguing the Labour Party before aspiring to lead the entire country. He went as far as questioning Obi's capacity to handle significant national challenges like insecurity if he couldn't manage disputes within his own political organization. Now, let's pivot to the source of Akpabio's response. Peter Obi's remarks at the memorial lecture for Chief Edwin Clark. Obi, in the company of other distinguished leaders like the former head of state, Yakubu Gowon, and the former president, Goodluck Jonathan, they delivered a very powerful statement.
He's continued living that life to the end. I listened to my brother Mike when he talked about may the labor of our heroes past not be in vain. I'm sorry, I'm happy that Jaragowan is here, and I'm happy that Jonathan is here. But I can tell you, their sacrifice is in vain. They've sacrificed for nothing. We're in this country when people were protesting, when there was no need to protest under Jonathan. Where are those protesters? Have they died? Where are they? So where are we saying it should not be in vain? Jonathan increased fuel from 87 naira to 120 and people were protesting in this country. And when it was 900, they were not protesting. Are they dead? People protested when Naira was 180 and when it was 1,005, they're not protesting. Are they dead? So we let not say it should not be in vain. I spoke a few days ago and people said I'm demarketing Nigeria. When it stood to be demarketed, World Bank has just shown that 75% of Nigerians in rural areas are poor. Is World Bank demarketing Nigeria? UNICEF 2 days ago released that Nigeria now have over 2 million malnourished children, the second highest in the world. Are they demarketing Nigeria? Let's face the reality. Their labor is in vain. We have a country now that is not democratic. We are not a democratic country. Let's tell ourselves the truth. Is the election that happened in Edo, is it democratic? No. Just the last election in Edo. It's the most democratic election. Everybody knows who won that election. So why are we keeping it and saying, let their work was in vain? It is in vain. So we can start picking the pieces now, because they've destroyed everything people have sacrificed for. Look at what is happening in Nigeria today. Above all, Jaragowan, you sacrificed everything. The country people sacrificed has turned into a crime scene. All we do today is stealing. You know, and we have to do something. All we need to do is live a courageous life.
He lamented the perceived nullification of the sacrifices made by past heroes, citing the pervasive destruction across the country. He raised critical questions about the apparent silence of voices that were once vocal in protesting against more manageable economic and social issues. Obi also defended his stance on speaking truthfully about Nigeria's challenges, arguing that truth rather than demarketing can actually strengthen a nation. He also emphasized on the importance of confronting hard truths and honoring the legacy of patriots like Chief Edwin Clark by upholding values like justice, equity, and service. Now, let us delve into the analysis of this exchange. Akpabio's line of reasoning centers on the principle that leadership begins at home, yes. His argument is that if a political leader cannot effectively manage the internal affairs and disputes within their own party, doubts that about their ability to govern a complex and diverse nation like Nigeria. So this is a very common political strategy, questioning an opponent's competence based on your perceived shortcomings within their own sphere of influence. However, Obi's perspective is rooted in a broader assessment of the national condition. He's not just talking about party politics. He's expressing a deep concern about the socio-economic realities that is facing Nigeria right now, the insecurity, the corruption, failing institutions, and the erosion of democratic principles. His statement about the labor of our heroes' paths being in vain is a lament about the current trajectory of the nation, a call for introspection and a return to the values championed by those who fought for Nigeria's independence and the progress. So, several key points emerged from this exchange. Firstly, Akpabio's focus on the Labour Party's internal issues could be seen as a deflection from the broader issue Obi raised, and while party cohesion is undoubtedly important, Obi's critique targets systemic problems affecting all Nigerians, regardless of their political affiliation. And secondly, Obi's rhetorical questions about the silence of past protesters are particularly pointed. He's highlighting what he perceives as a selective outrage, questioning why the voices that were loud during previous administrations seem muted in the face of arguably more severe challenges today, which we cannot deny. And this has raised questions about consistency and then the genuine motivations behind political activism. Thirdly, the disagreement over demarketing Nigeria, it touches upon a sensitive issue. Is it unpatriotic to speak openly about a nation's problems? Obi argues that the truth is essential for progress and that concealing or sugarcoating reality ultimately it does a disservice to the nation and the sacrifices of past leaders. Finally, Akpabio's challenge for Obi to show leadership like Edwin Clark by resolving party crisis is interesting too, because while Chief Clark was a unifying figure, his leadership style and the challenges he faced were vastly different from the internal dynamics of a relatively newer party like the Labour Party. So the comparison, while perhaps it's intended to be impactful, might not be entirely analogous. So to conclude, this exchange between Senate President Akpabio and Peter Obi, it shows the ongoing debate about leadership, about governance, and then the state of Nigeria in general, because Akpabio is emphasizing the importance of internal competence as a prerequisite for national leadership, and while Obi is focusing on the larger systemic issues and the need for a truthful assessment of the nation's trajectory. So, both perspectives offer valuable points for consideration. Ultimately, Nigeria will have to decide which argument resonates more with their understanding of the challenges and then the qualities they seek in their own leaders. But that is what it is. Anyways, that's all the time we have for this edition of Let's Talk Politics. We hope that you join us next time as we continue to dissect the crucial issues that are shaping our nation as a whole, Nigeria.